Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today I am off to check out the latest Denzel Washington film, The Equalizer 3. This is the third film in his franchise about a U.S. agent who's retired and doesn't quite know how to fit back in with normal society. And then when people he likes gets messed with by bad guys or thugs or whatnot, this guy decides to take it into his own hands and equalize the playing field. So in this film, he has actually left the United States and is in southern Italy just trying to lead a nice, quiet, normal life. But wouldn't you know it, mafia dudes come into the area, start messing with his friends, and so Denzel Washington has to get back out there and start knocking heads once more. Okay, so this is a film franchise that I have particularly enjoyed since it came out. I used to also watch the TV show back in the 80s. Now, I know they did a reboot of the TV show recently. I believe Queen Latifah is in it, but I haven't checked it out yet. I think it's on Peacock. I should check that out. But I do really enjoy this film series. I like that it went total brutal, R-rated, hardcore, just slamming action kind of film. It's one of those like tight military hand-to-hand fight things. I love the little quirks that Denzel Washington's character has. Like, he is a very OCD kind of guy. He does things like he loves tea, so he'll have like a cup of hot tea and he makes sure he has to tap the top of his tea like 3 times or something. He also times everything he does. He looks at his watch and he's like, yeah, I'm going to take y'all out in about 9 seconds. And then boop, 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 crazy things happen, and yes, in 9 seconds, he takes out an entire room of guys with just his bare hands. This is a really cool action series, and I have enjoyed it since the first film. It's kind of, I wouldn't throw it into the John Wick category. It doesn't have like that deep mythology. What's good about the Equalizer series is, honestly, if you have a rough kind of knowledge of the film, you can go into this without actually having to see any of the other movies. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know for certain on this movie, so I'll let you know when I get back from seeing it if I feel that this is a movie that you can just go see without having to go through and watch all the other films or what. So anyways, guys, it's time for me to get out of here because I need to go see The Equalizer 3. Welcome back, just getting home, and you know what, guys, I really enjoyed this movie. Not only was it a really good standalone film, but I also feel like it was a really good wrap up to the entire series. Okay, so normally I start things and I give you the negatives and then I move into the positives. However, I don't really have any negatives on this film. Well, maybe not necessarily a negative, but if you're a type of person that you consider movies like The Expendables and the Fast and the Furious movies, those type of action films, this might not be for you, but then again, you probably didn't make it past the first film in the series if you are only into action films like that. This kind of an action film is the equivalent, in my opinion, to the horror movie slow burn. A lot of intrigue, a lot of thrills leading up to something really awesome and a big payoff, and that is exactly how this movie plays out. There are some really cool action sequences and some very inventive kills, like slasher movie level type of stuff, and this film executes it very, very, very well. So if you're not somebody who likes the more smaller, stealthier, more intimate type of action films, this might not be the movie for you. But if what I'm saying is intriguing you, then stick around and listen to more of what I've got. All right, positives. First off, now this is Denzel Washington's third movie in the series, but man, he is just always so good in this role. This is his only franchise that he has, and he's really owned it in every one of these movies. This character is someone you constantly root for. He's likable. He's someone that you want to see achieve his goals. You want to see this guy win, and Denzel is the perfect actor for this. He has the charisma, plus he also does a great job with those fun little quirks that the character has. He's a very neat and tidy person, let's just put it that way. So the acting is great, the action sequences are fantastic. Now this is, again, like I said, not some high octane Mission Impossible level action film. This is more of a build up to something cool kind of action film. This is one of those movies where he'll go into a situation with just his bare hands and just annihilate every single person in the building by using stealth and just the knowledge of using one's own body against them as a weapon. The dude is literally unstoppable when you just let him use his hands. Now, I'm not saying that he's not formidable with guns and all. There's some really cool shootout sequences in this movie too, but really this film is all about stealth, and Denzel really achieves it great. He's very convincing in this role. I've always enjoyed him as an action actor. He always plays these type of roles, and I really enjoy it. This film itself is just outstanding. This is just a very good role for him, and unfortunately it's the last in the series. I've heard rumors that there's a prequel that's going to be coming out, but I don't know if he's going to actually play in that movie. I know there's been word of they be using the de-age technology and all, but you know, my opinion on that is, why use de-aging when Denzel has a perfectly good son that could play the part? Just saying. Anyways, I would like to see this series keep going, and if it gets handed over to Denzel's son like I'm talking about, I'm totally on board with that. Action sequences are on point, the acting is on point, and all of the sub-characters in this are just very likable. Again, this is people you are rooting for. Salt of the earth folk, normal, run-of-the-mill people with daily problems just like anybody else, and then all of a sudden some bad dude just wants to mess with them. But thank goodness they've got Denzel Washington around to save their butts if anything like that happens. So guys, yes, in my opinion, this is a very solid, get out there and see it in theaters. Now, as I said, this does work as a good standalone film. You don't necessarily have to see the other two movies to enjoy this film. However, there is a little bit of a payoff in the end of this movie. If you are a fan of the series, there's something there. But if you're not and you haven't seen the other movies, you might not understand what happens at the end, but then again, it's not something that ruins the movie. It's more of an Easter egg, really. But that being said, yeah, get out there, see this movie, support your local theater, so on and so forth. This was a fun one, guys. I highly recommend it. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. If you liked what you saw here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.